Here we go again. I mean, not again. It's maybe the first time. Uh, I'm. It's Friday night. What better thing to do than to draw? I'm 3 years old. So let me just share this if anyone is interested. And I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen now. Let me go on Facebook here. This is me in the corner. There was a song like this, trying to be funny as usual. I default to humor when I feel uncomfortably exposed. Here we go. All right. This should be out in the world. Guys, welcome. And this is the first of probably one live stream of me drawing. What you're seeing here is, well, basically I flicked one of my cameras down on the desk, and this is the first page of The Return of Detective Spencer, motherfuckers. And this is spoiler alert, but don't worry, it's gonna be probably more than 50 pages. If I ever get to the end of this will be the end of me, for sure. I'm not sure about the end of the comic book, but it will be the end of me. In here I got in the corner just a browser in case I need to pull some reference or something. I want to show you the whole thing. So you guys, if you have any questions or anything you want me to draw, I think I have a chat, right? Let me see if you can actually chat here. Should be. I didn't turn it off. Chat by any chance. Chat is disabled. What? Shit. How do I enable it? Let's see if I can enable it. In case you wanna write something. Very, very strange. Features like personalized ads and live chat won't be available. For kids. Okay. So very, very strange. But I think maybe it's solved. Let me see if if this is bad. Oh yeah, I think the chat is on. Well, okay, you learn every day. So apparently, if the video is kid friendly, there's no chat if it's a live video, because all the pedophiles, this is all they want. They're just waiting for these kids to get on YouTube and watch some live videos to harass them in the chat. So you guys, pedophiles, don't worry. You can go ahead and fucking rape this chat all over the place if you want. What's strange though is I'm not sure if I can see your chat. Okay, I have a solution. So I'm just gonna mute the video. I'm gonna play it, and hopefully then I'm gonna see your comments. So basically, if anyone has any questions of like what is going on with your life, I think this is as tight as I can get with the focus though, because it's manual, precisely because of the nature of this. I don't want my hand to pick up the autofocus, right? Doesn't work. Great. So it looks bad now because it's in pencil, but as soon as I go over this, start inking, it should look a little better and should start tightening up. So let me pick up my tools and see what I'm gonna use here. Probably gonna start with the hard pen. So we got hard pen, Micron, and we got a 05. I got 01s too, and a couple of different options, but this one I really love lately. This is, you see, it's a hard pen. It's not a brush. So just to compare, there is a brush, and the brush is similar, but it is flexible, you know, it's soft, the tip, and it doesn't get the same job. This is basically, the hard tip is like a 1, sort of, but it can get fatter, right? You can depending on how you pull the lines. So I'm gonna probably start with the 05 just to be safe. This is A3, which is gonna be, well, it's a standard size, right, for comic book pages. And since I got the inks, sort of, I'll go sponsored by Micron. Thanks for joining our looks. This is my brother here, a real artist for change who wastes his time watching this. Micron, by the way, is probably the go-to marker. At least is from what I hear. I got a couple of different ones that I tried. This one, for example, I just tried this some time ago. What is this? Kuretake. This is, my Bulgarian friends are gonna love this kuretake. It's also a hard tip. Problem is, it's not waterproof. Why is this a problem? Because I want to do watercolors on top of this, and it smudges. What I'm really curious to find out is, and it's not supposed to be, but you never know until you try, is if the actual ink I got is waterproof. Because I also got ink in case I want to go like with with the brush, like for some real big areas, just go completely dark. So first of all, let me get started here, so I'm not wasting time. Let me see if I got the right 05, because I had a couple that I ruined because I pushed too hard. The 05s are the easiest to ruin. I can't even imagine people going 03. There are smaller sizes than this, but this you're gonna see now. This is really, and look at my hand. It's not a very big panel, so you're gonna see the lines here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. It's gonna be really small. Okay, so first we are in New York City, year 12,021. Okay, first spoiler. We start in the far future. For those of you who haven't read the Detective Spencer Part 1 short story, it's on the Patreon page, link in the description below, and you can go check it out. Odox, what are you saying? Because of the hard tip? Exactly. So the hard tip is basically, it's like a brush that's really dry. And what it does is you can press harder and it'll make a thicker line, but you can press like less and it'll pull a thinner line. If you have a soft brush, you can have the same effect, but it's a little bit harder to control and can get like wavy. You got to be a pro to use it. A lot of the old times pros, as far as I know, they've used just regular brushes, and they get incredibly thin lines and then super fat and just super flexible with it. It's just not, you got to be like a crazy pro to do that. Maybe I should add some reverb to the room when I'm talking about these hard tips. And I got some royalty-free lo-fi music for you, which for anyone who's been through the pandemic, and it's good. All right, I think this is gonna. No, I'm gonna remove this ridiculous reverb. So let's see. I'm gonna start laying out stuff, and if this is very boring, I'm just gonna not do it ever again. But if anyone is watching, I'm gonna put another piece of paper here so I don't smudge the pencils too much. But basically the process is I go pencils first super loose, then I go over, kind of erase some of it, go a little bit tighter, and then go with inks, and then finally I go with color, which is, the standard, obvious stuff. I'm gonna start working on this. Maybe outline the panel first. I intentionally, this is probably gonna be visible, right? I think so. I intentionally want to go a little bit janky here with the line. I think it just, it makes it look a little less mechanical. Like someone did everything here by, handmade. You could easily just use obviously I divided it with a ruler. Is this visible, by the way? I think. Let me see if I can, because I need to figure out this setup in particular so it works, but I think it's okay. But yeah, with the ruler, obviously I measured everything, but I want to make sure that I add a little bit of personality, a little bit of pizzazz to it. So guys, this is what I'm doing, man. And the reason I wanted to get started with this from the inking stage is because it's a little more mechanical, a little bit less thinking, so I can talk while I do this. Where if I had to do the whole thing, which I might do a few pages later, when I have the designs for the characters completely figured out and everyone's appeared a few times, so I feel confident that I can show you also like making this up on the spot, because I have a super loose script. By the way, I can show you that also. Super loose because I'm doing this myself, so why overburden? I'm not delegating any of this to say. I'm not sending this script to an artist to do it, which I should have. And because of that, see, here's the super loose outline. Not sure if you see this, but for example, see the first page I'm doing now is just this tagline, and a series of panels closing in from a wide shot of futuristic city at night down to a dead cat. The characters, the lines, super loose, and then I go even looser because by the time I get to this page, I'll get more precise. But you see here, it's like page 18 to 21. This happens, page whatever. So introducing Steftra and the house problem. I'll let you figure this out on your own. Maybe you have theories about this. So I'm trying to be here a little bit not limiting to myself, so I go very loose with the script, and then so when I go here first, all I'm trying to do mostly now is take care of you can see this, right? Yeah. Is take care of the general shapes of things. And then the shadows, which I already have sort of here, as you can see, I'm gonna take care of this later. But just to make sure, because I might still change something. And okay, it's better to start with the things that are out, so I don't like the cars and the smoke. So those are, I'll start with those. And I'm gonna try to then later kind of remove this underlining pencil. Not too much. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of layers here of stuff going on. There's some people that really eyeball this, and I probably will a little bit later, but at least at the beginning, in the first fucking panel, the first page, I try to be a little more precise in the in the pencil and stuff. But this is not at all as precise as like the pros will get it. Naturally, you guys need to understand. If you're into this, don't watch this right now. Stop it. Go watch people like Jim Lee, David Finch. There's so much content from like the real pros, fucking legends, doing it for free for people to watch. But what I'm saying is, they will go really precise even with the penciling, but that's because they work with inkers. So they send this to another person who just does what I'm doing now. So they need to interpret everything. They need to understand clearly what is going on here. See, I'm still not warmed up, so my lines are a little janky. Probably by the end of this session, I will be in better shape. There's a lot of mechanics to it. It's like anything, like in music. If you play an instrument, you gotta warm up. If you're singing, you gotta warm your voice. My hand is still a little bit shaky at this moment. So, knowing this, sometimes you can pick like what you want to do first, something more safe, or just practice. Like you could go just do straight lines and try to make sure that they're, you know, as I realize I'm not, you know, just make lines as straight as possible, and just to get used to this mechanical thing. But I'm just gonna go for it. So what's happening here is, I'm wondering if I should break this form. Probably break it a little bit. Went so fucking janky with this line. And I try to be mindful still, even though there's a lot of this is already predetermined by, I mean, it's not, nothing is predetermined by, set in stone by the pencil, but it's already pretty informative. But what I'm saying is, I try to still be mindful of the flow of these shapes and try to be kind of loosey-goosey. So, you know, be just a little bit more, have a better flow of the lines. Yeah, I'll go with it. See, for example, here, this is probably not the best example, but try to just some fucking reflection. I'm gonna go over this many times just to fix this, straighten these things. This is also just the general outline. I'm gonna just then strip off the pencil. I'm gonna go again, make some of the lines thicker on the outside, get much more, you know, get the shadows, get the detail, get the rendering. You can still see this, right? Okay. This is what I'm doing, man. This is what I'm about at the moment, at this stage in my fucking life. I'm going backwards, man. I'm going to a good place where I was as a kid. I'm receding into a... See, that's not correct, but whatever. And also I try to be mindful of the style here of the story, because it is a goofy story at the end of the day, so I don't want to be too serious, you know, in the sense that, first of all, I can't, even if I wanted to, because I'm lacking the skills, but I try to be a little bit loosey-goosey, and have fun with the stuff that I'm drawing. So it's, I kind of escape this, the fact that I suck, into the fact that, you know, I hide it with the goofiness of it. Oh, look, it's my style. This is hiding. A lot of people do this, by the way. You notice in all kinds of fields of life. Like, yeah, this is my style, man. Is your style to suck? Like, obviously this sucks. So, but I hope, because it's a combined thing of so many things, and the story and the characters and everything, that some of it is gonna just get lost. And people are gonna give me kind of a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. There. See, for some reason this car looks much better than the others. I don't know how I managed. But also it's so funny, because it is essentially in this order that I drew them. By that one, I had this figured out, sort of. So strange how the human mind works. You know, when you try to have these creative processes, it's always about like looking for the causal relationship between like what works, you know, cause and effect kind of thing. And then you try to endlessly recreate. And this is why you end up with these weirdos. Like, I didn't understand for the longest time, like, why people are weird in the art circles. Like, why would someone dress a certain way to perform and wear weird hats and shit? And then I realized, well, it's you gotta do what you gotta do to
to leave your body almost in a spiritual way, in a kind of a transcendent way, to create this weird character that's gonna be more than you ever can be, and produce this song that normally you wouldn't produce. A lot of it is judgment that you need to switch off, or some mental processes, some loading in your head. You gotta turn it off, so you distract even yourself with some shit. And so that's part of it, I think. Also, I try to break them up. If you had flying cars in a city in the future. By the way, it's such a cliche, right? But that's part of the theme here. There's a lot of cliches because it's actually it is sort of a noir kind of genre of this particular story. So I try to incorporate as many, well, not as many cliches, but there's some cliches. So you see, these lines, you gotta be really goosey with them. This is gonna be smoke. This perspective, by the way, I'm still working on setting up perspectives like this. It's such a fucking pain in the ass. If anyone is interested, I can explain what happens here with these lines, why I did this in such a way. But it's because I never used to care about this, and you can tell from the stuff that I used to draw. I had a problem with, because most of my stuff that I naturally drew is always faces and expressions, caricatures. This is what I've been doing since I was a kid. Doing many characters in one physical space with backgrounds is something relatively new to me, but it's a skill that I definitely need to pull this off to some extent of believability. So I try to work on this, and I think it's sort of just passable here. Of course, I'm gonna probably see this in sometime later and go, what the fuck was I thinking? This is terrible. But that's always what happens. You can't be too judgmental on you if you want to produce something. You just can't. You got to be vulnerable enough to fail. Otherwise, like, if you don't think I know this sucks, of course I do. See, this is funny. So I started with, there are a couple of mechanisms. It's either, easy to complex shapes. This is one example of this. Like, I start with something very regular, and now when I go over it, I janky it up a little bit. And that gives it a little bit more character. Like those pipes. Instead, like, for example, if I show you here, so the pipe, like, you could be super mathematical with it, and then you add those later. But now I got this pencil thing, so now when I go over this, I can kind of extend it, exaggerate it, like do this, for example, right? I could have done this from the start, but it's not how your mind works. Because you're not sure at the beginning, and you just do, like, at the beginning you do this, and then this turns into this, and then this turns into, so with every go, and if I did several more goes at it, it'd probably be even better. But, whatever. At some point, you gotta pull the trigger and bring it into life, You can't endlessly hide and be like, I need to fix it. Because that process is forever, And you gotta at some point just say, okay, fuck it. I did this very badly. I gotta tell you, out of all different things that you could do creatively, drawing is one of the chillest. Especially this part. It's so relaxing, and it's really low pressure for me, at least. Maybe that's why this is the quality. But See, the other thing is this is so slow, but this is, you know, I'm slow. What can I do? You know, it's probably, I'm probably gonna speed up a little bit later on, I hope with time, but let's not jump to conclusions here. Let's not promise. I don't want to make any promises. I don't want to lie to people. Okay. I think my girlfriend is coming back. How long have I done this for? See, how, you know, I'm gonna mute myself just in case she talks to me.
Did anyone join? Anyone new? I just found out. My girlfriend told me that Elon Musk broke up with this whatever it was called. What was it called? Grinder? No. What is the name of this creature? Juice, juicer. What is her name? Grimes. And Grimes. Wow. What a loss for the world. What a tragedy. Only his 57th unsuccessful relationship. What can you do? You never give up. That's a lesson for you fellas. Be like Elon Musk. Never give up. No matter how many times you fail. This architecture of New York City, man, it sucks ass. Like, this is definitely, I hope the future doesn't look like this. This is bad. And you know, at work we have this thing where sometimes we there's this chat bot that matches us with a random colleague, and we just chat. And I was chatting to this product designer today. I was asking him, dude, like, what is his career path and everything. It's such an interesting, combination of business and creative skills. And these people are really, really talented, smart people. And I'm like, God damn it. Look at my design for, wait until you see my design for New York City. 12,021. But like I say, I hope it is consistent. That's the other thing, If it sucks, it's gotta suck consistently, guys. At least make it suck consistently. Then maybe it's gonna be good. They're playing Shrek on TV. It's that time of the year, guys. They're playing Shrek, and I got the holiday juices flowing. I hope Santa remembers me this year. A little bit of cloud of dust, smoke. Still feel like I pressed definitely too hard on this. I'm gonna break this. There's no short amount of these 05s that I need to have, because these guys are like, they're getting fucked up all the time. Because the other thing is I'm using too rough a paper. Usually, and if you do this sort of stuff, like comic book, first of all, there's specific comic book paper that you can buy. That it has this thing here I'm doing, sort of a bleed. I'm doing it for a couple of years reasons. First, because when I go with a color, I need to put I don't need to, but it's good because the watercolor bends the paper. So I want to put a tape here to hold it. But also when I scan it, or in my case, take a photo of it, so I can cut off the margins. So the ready comic book paper already has the margins, has the bleeds, has everything. And it's usually a glossy paper. It's very high quality glossy paper because of the ink, and it gives you higher contrast. But the thing is, because I'm using watercolor, and because I'm basically never one to follow the rules, if anything, that's not entirely true, but anyway, because of mostly the watercolor,
and also because I just like the texture. I like heavy paper, you know. Okay, this is not great at all. This is supposed to be lightning, but don't worry, because I'm gonna go black over all of this and basically just light it out afterwards. This is just a reminder mostly for me to know where to light it. So don't worry. See, now I just ruined this, but don't worry. The intention is just to kind of remind me and to give me an idea of how it's going to look. I'm going to go over this one in more detail. So like I told you, this is panel 1 of page 1 of something that's going to be probably over 50 pages. I have no idea really if I just can physically do this. But you know what? I had listened to some interview with, you know, it's gonna sound cringy, but years ago, what was the guy's name? Chris Evans, right? The guy who plays Captain America. And he was saying that when they first came to him and offered which that kind of made his career. I mean, the guy, let's be serious, let's be honest here. He's a really cool dude. A lot of roles he had before that were really cool. But now everyone and now and forever will know him as Captain America. So, when they came up to him at first, they were like, you gotta sign a contract for like 6 movies. And he's like, what? 6 movies? Which, by the way, they were kind of the first to set this precedent, right? I mean, before that, it wasn't like it wasn't often, even in like things like James Bond, it was a movie-to-movie kind of deal. You know, if the movie makes well, then they're gonna call you back, hopefully. But you know, it's not something that they could count on before. So he was like, I'm scared. I don't want to do this because I don't want to tie myself and you know, be in this situation. And then he was like, and then I realized that that fear, it was meaningful. It conveyed information to him, and he's like, I need to listen to that fear and use it as a driving force and orient myself with the fear. I thought, oh, that's cool. And I've certainly done this many times myself, where I do something, I'm afraid to do something, and I know, I need to do that thing that I'm afraid of most. It's not always smart, but a lot of times you're afraid to, push out of your comfort zone. Smoke is kind of weird, but I'm gonna go over this with so many layers. I'm gonna do a lot of color here. Yeah, so I was gonna say, this is not the best, by the way, idea. If you want to do something like this, oh hey Ricky, what's up? Facing your fears. Exactly, my man. I'm facing them right now here on this piece of paper. You see, this is New York City, Neo York, which is even hard to pronounce. From The Return of Detective Spencer, the first panel of the first page, man. So I was gonna say, this is not the best idea, generally speaking, to go with black ink on white paper and then go with watercolor, simply because watercolor is transparent and it's too loosey-goosey to do this. So normally what people would do is they would go, they would keep it like it was now, meaning pencil, and then do the watercolor. And then the pencil is kind of the same intensity and saturation as the watercolor. So it kind of blends nicely. This is less standard, but I like both, man. I like ink and I like watercolor. What can I do? And I go pretty intense with the watercolor. Like I try to saturate it a lot. You know, let's say, you know, there's also such things as Lightroom. So I can then kind of, you know, balance things out or saturate the color more or desaturate the blacks a little bit. At the end of the day, this is either going to be printed or well, it is going to be printed for sure if I finish this. I'm going to print some copies, if not for myself and for my friends, but probably, you know, mostly it's going to be like PDF. So if that's the case, then certainly you can imagine that there's going to be some post-processing. Oh, hey Ricky, what's up? I'm loving the details already of the city, already grasping for the next square. Square is in panel. Exactly. So I at the beginning I showed it. Maybe I can zoom out for a bit, because I got basically. So this is the first page is kind of loosely done in pencil, and I'm going with the inks, and then finally with the color. But basically now we're closing in on a city from a wide shot onto the street level, and we see a dead cat. Then we got this character called Shrumpy, which is the new partner for Detective Spencer. This is the detective in the future. So you see he's in a full costume to survive this environment in the future, and also because we know his condition. And he's pretty upset that the cat is dead, because if you've read the first part, you know that he loves cat. So, and the cat, now we find out in the last panel, has been killed, has been scared to death, and you can see a bunch of cucumbers on the ground. And Shrumpy says, "Oh my God, this is a cucumber minefield." So this is the first page, and pretty standard breakdown of like panels, nothing crazy. Let me see if this is zoom. This is really tight. It's nothing too insane in terms of complexity or creativity, but I hope to get a little bit more extravagant later on the next pages. Dog mecha suit for Detective Spencer. A robot dog? No. Well, robot dog. No. It's well, Shrumpy is. Okay, some spoilers, but Shrumpy is basically a human, but a human of the future. So he looks different, and the detective looks different because of the suit, because both the environment is kind of toxic, and also that helps him in his particular predicament to see things and to interact with things and hear and touch and fly and all kinds of stuff. It's at least for the moment. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things here. Don't worry. I'm not going to be. It's not just the easy solution of like, oh, how does this character, move and whatever. Let me put him in a suit. It's not just that. There's going to be a lot of interesting things happening here. Remember that it's always story first for me. So I always started with a story, not worrying for a second how this is going to look. And then I'm trying to backwards engineer. Like, okay, how do we translate this onto this medium? And see if it works. So this is another reason that this is slow, because, I am familiar with stories, let's say short stories, maybe more than I am with comic books. I'm a fan, and in the last few years I've read more than I have in the past, but still it is a relatively new thing for me. And because of that, it's just a lot of catching up to do. But at least it's an informative catching up, meaning, you know, you could be the biggest movie buff, but then imagine you have the job to make a movie, and what does it help you if all your life you've been watching movies, but you kind of being absorbed by them and being lost in the movie. You really never cared to investigate the art of movie making, right? The mechanics, the technical part of it, and you don't want to. If you get lost, that's only because the movie, well, ideally, was so fucking great that you know, you got lost in it. That's what you want to achieve. But then when you want to try and do it, this shape doesn't work here. I'm probably gonna straighten it. But you know, when you're in a position of like, okay, now I want to make a movie, then you gotta all of a sudden care about these things. So what I'm trying to get to is that despite the fact that this is not something I've been a fan of for a long time. No, actually, I have been a fan since I was a kid of comic books. I remember buying some, or extorting my mom to buy me comic books when I was like 9. So it is something that I've had since I was a kid. But now it's all looking for inspiration and information. I open a comic book now and it's like, oh, how did they do this? How would I do this? Like, why did they choose that shot? Which angle they use? And I found it's extremely cinematic. So it's directorial, or rather, I mean, there are movies that are very comic book inspired. You know, it's hard to say which way goes first. We know for a fact that things like, for example, well, now we know that the new Matrix is coming up, right? So it's a good time to remember that the old Matrix was very much comic book inspired and manga inspired and anime inspired. I mean, openly, these guys were very proud of those inspirations. If you look at specific even frames, I mean, look, for example, do you remember, again, something that people probably don't pay attention to, but if you go, say, Matrix, Trinity on rooftop, dodge this. Remember this scene? Dodge this. If you look at this, just a frame, just look at this frame. This is so unusual for a movie to use such a super wide lens. Look at the gun here, but this is so common in comic books. This is a classic comic book shot. This is foreshortened, it's so poppy. You know, it's more three-dimensional, it's bigger and kind of, how do I say, it's much more bold, you know. And what's weird is if you look at the scene, it shifts from, look at this, super irregular. This is such a classic, it's like 35 millimeter lens, a normal, completely not distorted shot. It goes to this other shot, which is completely distorted. And look, this is also, this is a very classical, so comic book, but more regular movie kind of lens, right? And then you go to this wide shot. It's like, wow, you know, it's straight out stolen. I mean, not stolen, but it's something that would exist and, exist in comic books much more than in movies. And so there are movies like this that, I mean, there are obvious movies like 300 that, you know, they're based on comic books. They want to look like comic books. But there's movies like The Matrix. There's no Matrix comic book, at least, when the first movie came out. But they were so inspired that it's just, what gun? Ah, okay. Did you see the gun? I think, hopefully you saw it. Yeah, I mean, it's just they really wanna. I mean, their sensibility was so fully inspired by this that maybe even unconsciously they used this stuff. And also Hong Kong cinema and all this stuff, which also is a lot of those cultures there that they have manga traditions and stuff. It's so connected, you know. The art world is really intermingling and cross-contaminating and cross-pollinating all the time. So it's hard to say what came first, the egg or the matrix. Sometimes, you know, I have a line that's like crooked and like obviously wrong, but it just looks good for some reason. I repeat it just because like it's better than like if it was completely regular. Probably I shouldn't, of course. So in terms of lighting, I'm gonna see how this goes, but I want to make it so that the rooftops are kind of dark because I want the light to come from below, from the street level, let's say, and this to be night and raining and kind of you know, these lightnings going on. It's just more detective-y, right? More crime solving at night, kind of creating an immediate mood. Not sure about the smoke, but probably gonna do it. Ah, I fucked it up so bad. Well, it doesn't matter. I have the luxury also to take my time here. Normally, if you think about it, like this at this level, it took me 2 days to do this because every day I did. Well, for 2 days I did like I don't know 3-4 hours in the evening. And obviously, you see, it's been almost an hour now, and my progress. I mean, obviously, I'm talking, but it's very slow. And this is not even. We're not even close to the first panel being done. So what I'm saying is, I have the luxury to do this though because I don't have any deadline. If you're a professional artist working in comic books, you gotta have a put out like, well, usually it's like 1 or 2 pages a day, like complete pages. Well, not complete pages. You either complete pencils or 1 page complete inks if you're into inking, but that's a lot. So, but they don't go as detailed as I do here. They go a little bit faster, a little bit bolder in terms of shapes, and I'm trying to be here a little more meticulous. This is a labor of love. This is just something, a passion project. So okay. At this point, I could probably start cleaning it up a little bit, but I've just laid out just a little bit of extra lines here and there before I do, just in case. Oh, you have a comment from Ricky in the chat. Like real artists, my friends are cross-contaminating the chat with their own interactions. Which is totally fine. This is totally fine. Alright. I think. Not sure about this wall, it's too blank here. It's okay to leave some for texturing with the paint too, but not entirely sure. Maybe just this line. Alright, so I could light it up just a little bit. Don't worry, artists, you're getting your spotlight. Oh man, thank you. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. How are you, man? How are things? Is everything okay? For broadcasting it. Thanks, man. It's my pleasure. It's more fun for me this way. All good here. Just having dinner. I'm getting the cold. Just don't know which. Man, this is it. Like a lot of people are getting the cold now. I myself felt a little bit funny this week, but I think a little better now. It's the season, I think. You know. Hope this is nothing serious. Alrighty. So let's go bold. Let's fucking go with it. This is pretty fucked up, this brush, but I still got ink in it. So I'm just gonna go here. Or maybe try the, you know what? I'm gonna try the other ink. Never used this one before. So let me fail here officially. See how bad this is. I'm gonna try on this piece of paper first, so I don't fuck it up. Oh, it's got a, look at this, it's pretty cool. It's got a little stick inside, so you can mix it or some shit. Nice. Let me see if this is, I'll pick one of the worst brushes just in case it really ruins the brush. Well, it shouldn't if I clean it afterward. Wow. This is dark and juicy. I wonder how it looks when it dries though. Alright, this is much better actually. Let me see. You see this? Okay. Let's see how this works. Never used like ink straight out of the fucking box. Let's see. This brush ain't the best, but alright. You can see this right now. The test of it is when it dries. But Let's see if it's consistent. Wow, nice. I want to experiment with it to see if it matters how thick it is. It shouldn't be like, I hope, like watercolor where it has to be applied multiple times, because that's not the point. It should be once and it's done. But that's the thing also. And by the way, this ink also, a lot of people, I think, let me hold it up. Yeah. Alright, well, I'll give it a try. I'll see when it completely dries if I need to fix some areas. But the thing is, some people even dilute ink. Obviously, if you do that, you lose
in life. You lose everything.
No, I mean, you lose the saturation. But it's for interest of also, I think, how easy it is to be applied.
You know, how easy it flows over the paper.
So you see already the paper kind of bends a little bit. That's what I was talking about before with the tape. Why the tape is useful. This is great. There's nothing more satisfying than going dark.
Going dark places, right, Augie? There's nothing more satisfying than
going into the dark side.
Too soon?
No, I hope not. It's an inside joke. Now it's outside. And just by the exposure of outside light, all of a sudden, it becomes less painful. All of a sudden, it becomes okay to die.
The cool thing that you have, like if you have separate ink like this,
is you can also sprinkle it. You know what I mean? With a brush, like you could do this with the brush, and you can have, which I'm probably going to use a lot in the next pages when we have some more brutal bloodshed.
Now, this brush is bad. It's got so many stray hairs, and it's just not.
It's not enough. I shouldn't have used this one.
Actually, let me try. But I'm because I'm also afraid of this particular ink.
Never used it before. So, not very fast here because of that.
But yeah, anyway, I got into drawing
More during the pandemic, and it's helped me actually a lot, you know. Okay, I'm gonna lose this because it's just too small to be seen in there is an antenna that got lost, and this also, but I'm gonna go over this one with the whiteout. I started drawing more during the pandemic, find it relaxing. And the cool thing is, like, I can do this. Like, I can talk to you and do this, which means I can do other things. I can watch movies and do this. I mean, maybe not like super serious stuff that needs to be paid attention to, but listen to podcasts, listen to stuff and do it, which is cool. Because not everything you can do it, like, try to write music. You don't want to listen to all this stuff, right? Try to write a book. Not the best idea to watch Netflix documentaries in the same exact moment. I think it ultimately goes down to my completely violated what do you call this? My personal space being, my privacy being completely violated. Privacy or privacy? I've always said privacy, but then again, I hear a lot of people saying privacy. So, my violently abused privacy when I was a kid by the fact that my parents, mostly my mom, used to constantly, like, I'm in my room, open the door, go in a room, and turn the TV on, watch some stuff. Like, I'm doing homework, Mom. No, forget it. I live in the house. It's my house. Fuck off. So, obviously I'm exaggerating, but not too much. And so, yeah, it's a little bit... No, I think it's good. I think this is good. On the camera you can't see it very well because the light here, it's very shining straight on it, and this seems a little bit brighter than it. It probably is a little bit bright, but to my eye it looks better than on the camera. I think this is good. Yeah, it's not bad, this thing, and probably I'll learn to use it better and pick a better brush. Nice. All right, so what I'm going to do now is start adding shadows, and for that, pretty good, man. Netherlands life is okay, guys. Sorry, I was reading your personal messages that you're exchanging. I thought it was something you said to me, but I know, man. I wanted to be there. It was a beautiful place from the photos. It was, man. It was a great place. Too bad you couldn't make it, but next time maybe we're gonna do it somewhere else. I'm gonna start adding shadows, thickening some lines. Sorry, I'm off the camera. man, that's exactly right. I was using the opportunity that you guys are busy talking and to exchange some words of love. But I've been found out. I want to go black. I want to go really dark in some places, but still have not lose all the shapes. Because if the light's coming from below, that means is I need to really have yeah. This probably needs to be thicker. Yeah, I wonder. It's gonna be. I wanted to finish at least this panel. Once you go black, that's right. I wanted to exchange one. Finish one panel, but I'm not even sure I'm gonna do this because I need to keep you forever. If I mean, I'm gonna draw probably for a couple hours more. It's Friday. I don't give a fuck. I don't have a life, but it's probably I need to be mindful of how boring this could get. And also, see, some decisions are changed once others are made, because like this dark here changes some of the plans I had for this rooftop. And this is gonna be like probably like this. Okay, so let's see. See, now that this is kind of empty. Now I want to leave some space for it to breathe too. So some walls being blank, it's not necessarily bad. I want to add some texture here. Those are supposed to be like mountains in the distance, because this is supposed to be a desolated area outside of the main city. Yeah, maybe some kind of crater-like things. Don't want to also overburden it, and it's night, so the only thing that's supposed to illuminate it is the lightning and the city lights. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of. We're not talking about complete realism. It's always a fight between. Okay, I'm gonna go dark here. Fuck it. Between how much you want to stick to the reality of things and how much you want to leave symbolic and kind of readable. At the end, it's a symbol, meaning it's a oversimplified visualization of something that needs to be readable. It's the difference, if you think about it, between a picture, if you want to be really philosophical, and a letter is not that big. I mean, if I write a letter, A, and there's a reason why this A exists. Like, probably if you historically explain it, maybe it meant something. Maybe it was a fish, maybe it was a bird, but if I do this and if I do this, it's a smile. I mean, every kid knows that, right? So you gotta talk about symbolism in the sense of you make decisions. They're playing in the compromise area between reality and symbolism, and probably the line is readability, practical aspect of it, like how much is readable. Probably need to do some more rendering here, but It's also in the distance. Here's the thing: you don't want to go too detailed in the distance because it just distracts the eye. The attention is here, and also if you look at like the composition, this car is roughly in the rule of thirds, and then this, so it has this kind of flow here, and I want to keep this stuff generally speaking here. And what I'm doing here is if I add too much stuff in here, it's gonna be distracting. So I don't want to do that too much. But it's a push and pull. You try, you see where it's too much, you go back. I can always fix some stuff, but want to avoid that as much as possible. So I probably need to go dark on this roof actually, just to make it consistent. But I wonder how to approach this. I'll try to do some smaller roofs. You see how my mind works? Like, I'm not confident enough to go all the way here, which I should. So I'm gonna go first kind of here, see how it looks, and I'm gonna go do a couple of the smaller ones, baby steps. You can still see it, right? Yeah. So I could render them differently a little bit, but could do it gradual like this, for example. I'm not sure if it's worth it or if it's too confusing. Because then there will have to be, well, maybe the cars are shining some light. Maybe, I don't know. See here, I'm leaving space because otherwise this shape would disappear. And I'll go with the whiteout to correct some things later. So Ricky, what are you reading now? Are you reading any comic books at the moment, or manga or anything? You're a comic book guy, right? Is there anything on your radar at the moment? You're doing it Fight Club style. First part is book, second is comic. Really? I didn't know that. Didn't know there was a book and then a comic. Solo Leveling, no idea, but it's great. Solo leveling, never heard of it. And I'm forgetting the fourth. One Punch. Oh, well, hold on. Yep, 4 different ones. Record of Ragnarok. Okay, this is cool. Monthly. Wow. All right. Kengan Omega weekly. Not sure if I'm reading this right. Kengan or Kingan or something. Solo leveling, and then One Punch. Well, I'm only familiar with Ragnarok, but just from the movies, and One Punch, obviously. This is Stefcho. Hey man, what's up? I thought it was Ogi because you guys have a similar thing. Thanks for watching. Yeah, even the third is a comic. All right, Stefcho, Ricky, you guys are reunioning here on the S2 Bogi Stefcho podcast alumni. And also Augie. This is a whole Bogi Stefcho podcast reunion episode. I'm not sure how glossy I want to make this. I want to make this a little bit more. I'm probably gonna go with this. Make it look a little glossier, like a reflective surface, and add more detail here. I want to go fucking add as much detail as I fucking can with this fucking. Anya's out of the room, so I can swear. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like me to swear. Maybe add a crack here and there, but this car is totally invisible, so I need to pop it. Even third is a comic. See, you need to update me on the pop culture elements. All right, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go black with this rooftop here, but I'm gonna light out some. So I'm gonna prepare my light out, even though I go over this at the end. But yeah, all right. So I got many different light outs. The best are Posca. Is this the thinnest I got? No, there was a thinner one. Shit, where's my thinnest Posca? I got this. I got this. I don't know. Probably this is the thinnest. Oh, okay. Come on, there was a thinner one, I think. Shit. It's too much trash on one desk. But I'm gonna do this probably, let's see. Gotta pump it, baby. Come on, is this yes. This is so lovely. So this is, by the way, the best whiteout you can get. Is this one right here, Posca. Really cool. This is basically white paint, and there are all kinds of types, right? But the thing is, not everyone looks good when you correct something and want to go over with the black. Again, sometimes some of them are really sucky, and this is really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this whole thing black, and I'm going to show you how I can white out areas of interest. So see this pipe, I'm gonna just leave it like this, but even that I could have gone black and then white it out. The only issue I think with this whiteout is watercolor. It just doesn't stick to it very well. Ink goes over it great. So if you do white and black and white, then it's great. But if you want to do, so I'm gonna do the whiteout for the rain and for the to fix the lightning. A bunch of stuff. Okay, so here you remember there was some sort of detail that got lost. gonna let it dry just a little bit. I'm gonna do a little more dark, and then I'm gonna go over with the dark. With the whiteout. What are you guys saying? One punch? Yeah, even third is okay. You didn't say anything. Okay, cool. I thought maybe I lost something important in the chat. And obviously, the way you approach the shadow thing is completely stylistic decision making too. Meaning you don't have to go dark like this, you know, whatever. It's all, but I'm trying to, because it's also hard. You know, it's not supernatural for me to be this like contrasty dark. I'm still trying to grasp it. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do here? Actually, I'm gonna do this. Kind of break up the darkness. Go dark here. Maybe try to pull super nice straight lines here. And also go completely black here. Yeah, this one, the hard tip. The hard tip is the best. Hey, I really love it. Go maybe dark here. I'm trying to break out these patterns so it's not just boring to the eye, you know, it's a little bit something. Okay, so let's try this whiteout that I advertised. How was it? Okay, I'm gonna follow these lines. Do you see this? Yeah, these cracks sort of. Try to figure out the perspective here. I got see, this is a little bit fatty, juicy line, but don't worry, because when it dries, I can also go over again with the ink, and just that'll be it. All right, and then I'm gonna go actually and fix these fuckers. See, the whiteout makes it like shine more, you know? Because even this paper is a little yellowish. I mean, obviously it's yellow because the light source is warm. It's just a normal desk lamp. It's not even the best. So if I turn it off, you see the light in the room is better because it's a cold light. You see how it got a little bit bluer? But you can see that the desk is white, more white than the paper. The paper's kind of yellowish, but the line here is just so fucking poppy white with the whiteout. It's great. I love it. And I'm gonna add some splashes too, but before I'm gonna do a little bit of like whatever, some fucking dots here and there. But I'm gonna do the splashes later, anyways. What are you guys writing? Oh, Stefan is here. The other Stefan. There's two Stefans, guys. It's the clash of the Stefans. Looks gnarly. Looks like I'm an idiot. Looks gnarly. says Neo York, sweet. It's Neo Tokyo. I steal it straight from Akira. Is this like a Blade Runner-ish kind of? Man, you're really getting this. By the way, Augie, remember? So just you guys don't know each other, but one time, I remember back when I was in Malta, I posted some shit on Instagram, and I was sitting in the office. I just took a selfie. But it was some sun rays hitting in a very specific way, and there was really nice kind of optic effects in the background. And you, Stefan, I think you wrote something about like, what is this, a Michael Bay movie? Or I don't remember, something like that. Like you made a movie director reference. And Augie really liked this comment. So Stefan, you're like really, really accurate with the fucking references. You got to go to one of those billionaire shows or something. You really know your pop culture references. Exactly, it is a Blade Runner-esque kind of thing because it's Detective Spencer in the future. So we're talking about detective, so kind of neo-noir kind of setting, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, this is what I'm going for, of course. Needless to say, it's probably gonna fall short of actually getting there, but okay, so now these lines are a little bit too thick, but since it's dry, I'm just gonna go and just kind of shorten a little bit. I think this is the thinnest Posca I have. I don't know if they even sell thinner, at least in this store where I went here. They didn't have any. Just shortening it up so it doesn't look like a. It looks more like a crack. Super tiny. It's too fat. Yeah. See, this is even. I don't like this. It's kind of. Just some cracks here and there. Let's make, sell the shapes. It's all about the shapes. The reason. Oh, J.J. Abrams, exactly. I think that was it. It was. The idea is, in order to understand shadows, at least that's what I've been told. That's what I've been told by the people who really understand this. That I'm following, like David Finch and these guys. The way to understand shadows is really not about the shadows. It's you got to understand the shapes. If you understand the shapes, so if, for example, okay, so let me do a quick tutorial here, Greg. This is gonna take forever. But okay, so we all know, like, if you take any regular shape, let's say, like you take a pipe. If you have a light source that comes from here, there are gonna be two shadows here. If this is on a plane, like on a piece of paper, there's going to be a cast shadow, so it's going to be here, where this, you're not even seeing this, where this object is going to cast the shadow, or drop the shadow, but it's going to be also a core shadow, and that's the shadow on the object itself, so that will be here, right? And this is basic, and we've all learned this in school, and we all remember this, right? And then you render away from the, so you think about, so in other words, you think about the shapes first, then you understand the shadows, and then it's all about values, the second kind of approach, which is basically if you have, like, let's say you squint your eyes and you think of, by the way, I hope this is not, no, it's not. You think of how values work. Okay, this is completely black, let's say 100% black. And this is 0% black, and everything in between is just rendering. And you can make as many of those as you want. So this could be, let's say 75%, this could be 50%. And then it could even be like blending in. So for example, you could start from dark, and then you could do this, and you can either spread them out or break them out, or you can go kind of thicker lines and then they go kind of break down. And so there are different ways to, one way is this, right? You're pulling thick to thin. the other way is kind of breaking down, and the other way is spreading them out. And there are many ways. But the most important thing is that those things, the rendering, the cross-hatching lines, they have to match the object. So for example, if I have the pipe, I have really two options here. I can either go along the line, so go like this, or I could go this way, kind of circle around the shape. Again, you know, see, it's all about understanding the shape. But what I can't do is, you know, I can, but it's going to be conflicting, and you're going to see why, is I can't do this. You see why? Because it flattens it. It's flat this way. It doesn't sell the shape. So the shape is like this, you know? So I can't go like this. I can if the shape was like this. If it's some sort of pipe that's like this, you know, then I can have this and then have this. And then the other thing is also how sharp the object is. So for example, if imagine that a good example would be a nose, like a nose of a person. Say it is a pipe, you know. Imagine this is some sort of nose from below. So if there again, if the light is here, let's say that this part is completely dark, but then when the light kind of comes up like this, you know, it's going to render out depending on how kind of, if it's a very flat nose, the shape of this, you know, thing, it's either the sharper it is, the more it's going to break those lines. Because so in this case, it's going to be, they're going to kind of stop here, right? Because if you go further, it's going to be again for this shape. With this shape, they can go far. With this shape, they can go less. With this shape, they can go really little. So if this nose was sharper, right? Like, you know, whatever. And this is not a good way to show it. Actually, the good way to show it, because now you see the shape, is to actually see it like, you know, like this. And you see the person here, whatever. What a beautiful person. But if this nose is really like this, not really, but you know, if it's kind of stiffer, let's say now we change it because I got this line conveniently here. So if the light is here, actually this is going to be really short. But then what's going to happen, if this is the shape, then the cast shadow should be much bigger. So it could be all the way here. It could darken the eye. It could darken this. You know what I mean? So the cast shadow gets extended, and this core shadow gets shortened. So anyway, just a little bit of really poorly given advice. Good advice, but really poorly represented. There's some dogs. See, here I'm doing what I just was talking about. I'm changing really, because this shape is not really defined until I do this. And actually this is bad. I'm gonna kind of try to fix it. Now I'm making this kind of a pipe shape here. I don't want to do it here, even though probably I should. Okay, here I can do it again. Okay. You see, I'm doing this pipe thing, and I can do it here, but this time, you see, I'm extending it longer. It's not really a pipe this time. This kind of element here is different. Okay. So I should go. I'm thinking here as I go. Just how much of this do I want to leave for the collar to work? And one thing I do is I kind of squint and think about it in terms of values, and I still think there's a little bit space for black. There's more black needed here, folks. There was even a, I don't know who said it, but this is a famous thing that a lot of these comic book guys quote, is if in doubt, go black. Or if in doubt, black it out, or something, you know, just to rhyme it. I can actually do this like this. That's nice. This is a design decision. Obviously I need to do something here. Now this thruster obviously is gonna throw some light, but I don't want to think about that too much. It could be a cold light that doesn't create any, it's not a proper light source. So normally I would, you know, do the under part. Darker, but I'm not sure if this is the best thing here. Yeah, this car, I'm really having problems with it. Problems with figuring it out, you know, like what do I want it to look like. Probably go dark here. Just do some sort of pipes here. So this is why I did this, but if I do this, then there has to be a drop over it. I don't know if this is better or worse, but we'll see. This is something called line weights. So line weights is basically one easy, safe way to start with shadows. So if you're not sure about something, let's say you have an arm. I don't know, some fucking made up arm. This would be the body here. And let's say again, it's the arm is a sort of a pipe, right? And then we have this light from here. So one way is I could just exaggerate. I could start with obviously the line that's away from the light. Going to be thicker, right? So already I'm selling some shadow with just thickening this line, nothing else. This is line weights, you know. So in the example of this pipe, this is it. I'm just correcting this line, and then I connect these lines, and in the connecting points, I thicken them. The connecting points are thick, and then it kind of sells it more, and then you grow from there. So, you know, if you're really insecure like I am now, it's just my approach is basically I try to. Also, I'm wondering if I should do the different walls kind of differently. Sorry, I mean the different walls facing in different directions differently. Yo, Ricardo, the dinosaur's chilling on the mic. How the lighting itself will light up their areas. Exactly. So the idea is the light comes from below because when we close down on the other panels, we're going down. So we're going from up, down, and you see already on this panel, we got street lights. And so my idea was, it's dark up here and light comes from below. And the way you do light in general when you do watercolor is you just leave it blank. The widest light out, the kind of highest value you can have is just the paper. And so, and in this case, also the white out, the Posca, right? But I'm just basically going to leave it blank here below. So that's why I want to render from up down, sort of. And so if I do that here, you know, let me try to see what happens. Or do I have any conflict with this? Probably here a little bit. But no, I'm not in the shot. I constantly go away from the camera because the way I set it up, it's not the best for me. Okay, this car, I'm really fucking happy with this car. Okay. See if it makes sense to make these walls like that. But then again, I don't want to lose all of them. So, you see how I work. It's distracting. I just jump around. By the way, if you have any idea how I can name this dinosaur, feel free to give me suggestions. I'm not sure myself. Let me go. So you see, this is what I'm going to do now, which is also why I left this browser here. Is I look for references, and references, you can look for all kinds of references. In this case, I'm not quite sure how I want to do the reflection here. I know some of the metal stuff I can do. I don't want to super overcomplicate this shape because looking at values, well, actually, this is a good point. So in order to pop this, I should actually sort of think about maybe darkening things around it. Yeah, actually, that would be a good idea. Maybe. I'll darken more things around this ship, car, whatever it is. This probably too. Just because it will help it pop. Probably. Could do this kind of dark. Maybe render a little bit. And so I might look up some examples of how other people have done these reflections, because you see that the reflections here are fucking up my shit. To go darker with some of them. Maybe I'll go with the. You know what? For now, I'm not gonna look for anything. I'm just gonna go maybe a little bit with the thinner. Do you see this? Yeah. My head is it getting in the way? No. Just wanna add texture to it, but not go too crazy. See if this is here, then maybe something like that. Probably. Okay, so let me Google. Let me see. What is a reflective surface in comic books? I want to see rendering techniques in particular. So I'm gonna look for maybe Iron Man is a good example, right? Iron Man. So let me think of an artist. So I was talking about David Finch or Jim Lee or some of these guys that go really detailed. They're even crazier dudes in terms of rendering. But I don't think Greg Capullo has done Iron Man. Greg has done Batman. So in Batman in DC you have Cyborg, he's reflective. Let me see Iron Man, David Finch, for example. Let's start with this. See some examples of what he's done on the helmet, for example. Okay, you see here this fucking craziness. I mean, what am I talking about? Look, these lines, this zigzaggy shit. So one thing I see clearly is just, well, first of all lines are kind of connected and they go darker. So if I use what I got here, I'll probably have to just go maybe. See this? Okay, go thicker with some of this. If I need to imitate this style, and then maybe add more kind of, well, it's hard to imitate that shit. Maybe something like that. Yeah, it kind of looks like something, but he connects the lines. I think all of the lines are connected. They're leading, they're ending in a surface. So I need to. Yeah. Oh, this looks already better. Shit. I mean, to me at least, it looks different, but and some of this is okay. These lines, maybe I need to kind of. And by the way, it's super easy to overdo this. Like, it's super easy to just go too much. Ah, this is so much better. This is, yeah. Okay, I'm almost done here. Yeah, you know, this is better. You see, he goes really bold with the black. You see the smoke here? I'm not gonna go like this with the explosion. I'm not gonna go like this with my smoke because I want to keep it light. I want to keep the smoke kind of light smoke, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, here. Let me go back. Go back the tempi. Go back the tempi. Yeah. And by the way, guys, this is ridiculous because I've already done this for a really long time. Okay, guys, listen. How long has it been actually? Shit, it's not gonna. It's almost. It's fucking 2 hours. Oh fuck. All right, guys. It looks amazing. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna. You know what? I read a comic of David Finch. It was creepy as hell. Really? Is this was it Archangel or something? Like, was there a guy with wings in it? Because this is, I think, one of the most famous ones. I think it might have been even written by his wife, co-written by his wife, I think. They are streaming live on YouTube every week at least, and this is one of the things I started watching. It's one of the guys that got me into comic books. Anyways, this is gonna take me a while, and you know, I'm gonna get to the point where this is done, and we're gonna do more of these. So thanks for watching. I don't want to keep you forever, and you guys, you're great, and see you next time. Then I'm gonna. This is an endless process. It takes forever, and you know, but we're gonna get there. I'm gonna show you the final result, at least this panel. So thanks a lot for watching.